Hi, I'm Whitney of the Key2See Team, and my story about how I came to move to Gig Harbor is one that's focused on family. Of the three of us, did come the farthest, albeit only 30 miles up the 405 corridor in the town of Bellevue. Loved growing up in Bellevue and the Eastside. Really proud 425 girl for a very long time. And it was in college at UW that I ran into a lot of kids, met a lot of kids that called Gig Harbor home. Didn't really know much about it, just knew that it was near Tacoma, and that's about it. And then as I grew older, I would drive through on 16, and I was so impressed by the Narrows Bridge, and that was really cool. But then after that, I never strayed off the 16 to know or figure out why Gig Harbor is so great. So when my sister moved here in 2013, it was like my first exposure. I remember she said, let's go to a concert. It was our first time coming down to see them, and we were going to a concert, and I was super excited. And then we pulled up to a Shell gas station on Fox Island, and I looked around like, is this a joke? Little did I know that Zog's on Fox Island is a fabulous place to catch live music and hang out, and it's got a beautiful amphitheater in the back. So that was really my first exposure, then meeting wonderful people, conjoined with the time that Eric and I were talking about, is this where we want to stay? And we lived just outside the Bellevue area. We were in Newcastle, and while a really great community, we just knew that ultimately we wanted a little bit different scenery for our family. We wanted to be able to have a home with some square footage and maybe also some room to roam. So it was just around that time that we decided to give Gig Harbor a look. And I would say that we had to find a rental house really fast because we got our house on the market and we said, let's do it, but we didn't have a house to move into. Story cuts to us getting really lucky and finding a great home right on the water on Harborview in downtown. It was a fabulous way to get exposed to this harbor town, walking to all the places. That was my first since being in the U District during school, to be able to walk to charming little places like that. And I know that's all about where you live, but the biggest thing that I think surprised me is we came down here to be closer to my sister and her family without really realizing the type of community that we were moving into. Granted, she was a little concerned of my distance from Bell Square and didn't think that I was going to probably appreciate the retail amenities of the harbor, but that's gotten even so much better in the last 10 years. So 2015 is when we settled down here. I think one of the things I love the most about our move to Gig Harbor and what I discovered is that it was the first time I felt like I lived in a true community, maybe outside of a sorority, but a true community where the people that live there have a lot of pride in being from Gig Harbor, the heritage of Gig Harbor, and all that still goes on there. Having grown up in the Bridle Trails area of Bellevue, it's where Redmond meets Kirkland, meets Bellevue, and of course there's just wonderful things to do. It's a beautiful area, but never did I feel like I was really connected to a community up there. It is where I fell in love with rambling properties and split rail fences. A large reason why my husband and I called this place home now, where we built our house in 2017. But I love all the opportunity that is here in the harbor, and I love the spread of the demographics. We have so many young families. We have people that are moving here with teenagers. That's happened a number of times in the last year. We have people that are empty nesters all the way through retirement. We just really cover the gamut, as there's something for everybody here. Shortly after we moved in 2015, my parents followed. Then my sister's in-laws moved here, as did my mother-in-law, and we just have a way of drawing everybody in. Home is where family is, in my opinion, and that is probably one of my favorite things about the community that we're a part of. You see a lot of multi-generational families, you see big crews, you see a lot of people that find friend groups that become family. When my family and I all lived up in the 425 area, my sister in Kirkland, us in Newcastle, my parents in Bridle Trails, nobody was more than 10 miles, give or take, from each other, but it could be hours spent trying to get to each other with the traffic. And now, with a couple miles in between each of us. It makes getting together really easy. It makes carpooling super easy. And when Mimi and Papa have to take all the kids home, they don't have as far to go. So while it was primarily being close to family and hopefully the promise of a little larger yard or home that brought us down to Gig Harbor, there are so many reasons why we're never going to leave. We have loved this community. We have found ways to get involved, and there's other ways that have found us. But through that, we have expanded our social network. We've expanded our kids' social network, and they are going to grow up and be these people that go off to college, and like so many Gig Harbor natives, find themselves coming right on back when it's time to start their own family, plant roots, all of that. So while family was my reason, what I also love about the harbor is that our demographics range from all walks of life. So while my children's social networks have expanded greatly since moving to Gig Harbor through school, sports programs, church programs, my husband Eric and my social network has expanded greatly also with people who are doing the same thing in life, and it's wonderful to meet people in your adult years and know that you're going to be friends with them for a very, very long time. I'll never forget on one of my first visits to Gig Harbor, a woman told me that when she crosses the Narrows Bridge, it's like the ultimate exhale. And I thought that was funny, and I now get it. You cross the Narrows Bridge, you take in all the beauty that every now and then you can take for granted, but if you really stop and look around, it's a giant exhale. And I feel like living in this community of Gig Harbor is like a big hug. And I feel grateful to be a part of this community, and I love, absolutely love, helping people find their spot in it.